Hi, I'm Steve Hargadon, and I want to invite you to join us for the first ever online Tiny House Summit, February 20th to the 24th. We have some great speakers like Becky Elder, who's coming up in her preview clips. Each day of our 5-day event, we'll have presentations for you to watch, over 30 in total. Please do sign up to join us at tinyhousesummit.com and see you online.
I was a lifelong environmental activist, from Earth First to Ancient Forest Rescue and Sinapu for the wolves. Virtually everything about the planet kind of grew up that way because I grew up in the prairie wilderness. And I came across permaculture in 2002, which as an activist, it was all stop this, no on that, you're the bad guys, this, that. And permaculture came along, and it's actually a science of solutions, of how we can live on this planet and not take it down with us. And it was just, for me, it was a complete life change since 2002. I was asked to come back and teach the following year. So I taught at the Central Rocky Mountain Permaculture Institute for 6 years, and then decided I really needed to bring it to my own home grounds in the Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak region, very conservative region. And so this was what permaculture would say an edge. It's a place where there's all these different ways of looking at things as far as the people scope goes. And so it's rich. It was rich, but it was also ripe with opportunity to bring this, this science-based designing to my community. Permaculture is a designing system. It reconciles our human communities with the ecological needs of a living planet. We're on a living planet. It's a process of designing using nature's tools and the way that nature does things to create our human ecosystem so that we are not overlapping and laying on top of natural systems. We're segueing and integrating in with them so that we're within nature rather than sitting on top of her. Our culture is completely dependent at this point on industrialized agriculture, which does not have a future. It's totally dependent on fossil fuels. It's toxic. It does produce food, but the idea that we need big, huge monocropping industry to feed the world is really not true. They've disproven that. Just talk to Vandana Shiva. And so the small farmer, the small farm, and even the tiny house with just your backyard garden is all playing into this whole vision of we are our culture. We don't have to go somewhere else to have someone else provide for us. We're going to provide our own. You know, permaculture, in fact, started with Bill Mollison in the 70s, the father of permaculture, by looking at what agriculture was doing to his homelands. And so he was looking for the concept of permanent agriculture, because it was the agriculture that he saw and the harvest of the natural world that he saw that was bringing down his environment in Tasmania. Our houses and our culture is not really making us happy. A lot of the things in our culture is actually making us sick. And so, you know, we need each other, I think. I would love to have a tiny house myself. I live in a very small house. I apologize for the clutter behind me, but that's because it's a very small house. I'm looking here for my, how they work together. So permaculture raises awareness of limited resources. And we have this disease called consumerism. So, you know, the tiny houses address that directly. You cannot have a bunch of stuff in a tiny house. You have to live disciplined. You have to reduce your footprint and really come to have just the things that you need and want. Not necessarily, I mean, not that you want, need, absolutely need. And then you have to wrestle with your wants, because we have a culture that always says you need more. You need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. But that's really just an aspect of our culture of moving the economy around and around and around in actually I would say a toxic pattern. We are working on changing this world from what it is into something better. That's what I see. Like everything we do in nature has repercussions and reports through time. Everything we do is moving out. Tiny houses will continue to spread out and make changes deep meaningful changes in people's lives as people discover them. Environmental concerns are where permaculture and tiny houses fit so well. Tiny house and the cross-pollinations that it's bringing into all of the different directions that it's going, the water, the waste, the energy, it's going to help the movement move forward. And let's just build it and keep going for the greater good of everyone. We have a future coming. You may be there, I may not, but I'm doing what I can now for the benefit of all and for the benefit of the 7 generations.